Good morning, class. So today, we're going to talk about something that we all probably think we know, but is probably way more complex than you would think. Life cycles. What is a life cycle? Well, a life cycle simply means the stages a living being goes through while it is alive. Think about yourselves, for example. What would you call yourself at this point in your life? A teenager? Preteen, maybe? Well, you're not a little kid anymore, right? And you're certainly not a baby. But you're not an adult yet either. Well, just like you develop as you grow, so do insects and amphibians. Their life cycles, however, are a little bit different. Similarly to how humans start off as a cell and grow inside their mother's womb, insects start off as an egg, which is their first stage of life. The second stage of life is the larva, and it is what comes directly out of the egg. This is basically the equivalent to a human baby, but looks much less similar to a full-grown organism than a baby does to a full-grown adult. Larvae are often still yet to develop many features that are very important to their species, like a wing or exoskeletons. Now, this next stage doesn't happen in all insects, but does in some, such as butterflies and moths. Have you ever heard how a butterfly goes into a cocoon as a caterpillar, then comes out as a butterfly? Well, the time it spends in that cocoon is called the pupa stage. Most insects don't do this, but remember that butterflies especially always have a pupa stage, the stage in which they go into their cocoon. This last stage, however, is simply the same as it is in humans. Adult. This is the full-grown bug, and it will no longer physically develop any more than it already has. This is, in the case of the butterfly, when it actually looks like a butterfly. Now, the life cycle of amphibians is kind of similar to the life cycle of insects, but has some serious differences also. Just like insects, amphibians start off as an egg that is laid in water. In the water, they kind of look like a big mass of jelly. After the egg cycle comes the larva, or tadpoles in the case of frogs, stage. Frog larvae, tadpoles, pretty much just look like mini fish, as you can see from this picture right here. They have tails and gills with no legs, so they could never survive on the land. Throughout the larva stage, though, and in the later larva stage, they start to develop front and back legs, like this guy here, and they begin to develop lungs. And when they develop lungs, they need to breathe air, so they can't live in the water anymore. This is when they move on to land and start to begin to look like full-grown frogs. That tail even eventually disappears. Now, shortly after the frog comes on land to live, it becomes an adult. An adult, just like in insects, and in humans, is the final stage of life. The female frogs are now able to reproduce by laying the eggs, and the whole frog life cycle continues.